Items you'll need for this project: tape measure, tin snips, a grease pencil if you have one, a regular pencil might do, an awl or a nail set, a piece of kind of stiff wire, utility knife, duct tape. This is your base for your forms. This will be a piece of sheet metal that is roughly 20 inches by 40 inches. You'll also need another piece of sheet metal that's at least, this one's 10 by 60, and I cut it in half, where you can do 5 by 60 and 2 of those. And then optional items, little piece of wire to hold the top. I'd highly recommend that. You could also just do tape at the top with a drill to drill that hole for the wire, and pliers for the wire. Then you'll need cement. This is just the high strength concrete mix. It's a few 80-pound bags. Then you'll need a bucket or something to mix it in, and you can hand mix it if you want, or if you have a mixer, then that's ideal. You also need some ABS, and it'll be sized to whatever you want your holes to be. So you could do 1-inch interior diameter if you use a standard, or if you've got Olympic plates, 2-inch. I'm doing some custom ones because I'm making my own axle barbell. The bar I'm going to be using, which is essentially just going to be like an axle, is 1 1/4 inch. I got a 10-foot length of it, but I'm going to cut it down to size 1 1/4 inch, and then I've got black PVC that I'm going to put on the width. So I'm going to put these in the cement, and that'll slide on perfectly. So I'm using ABS, which is 1 1/2 inch. You'll also want something to reinforce the concrete. I've got a piece of lath that's just like a metal mesh. It's, I think, 3 feet by 8 feet that I'm going to cut. You could use rebar or whatever you need to. Okay, so I want my diameter of my plates that I'm making to be 17.5. So half of that is 8 3/4. So I'm making a guide to draw my circle. I'm going to put this, I'm taking this wire, putting it at 1 inch, going 8 3/4, and bending it there. And then essentially I'll put this in the center point, and then this will be my line to draw at 8 3/4. This is a 20-inch piece of sheet metal. I'm going to the center, and it doesn't have to be perfect, just as long as my edges are far enough in. So I'm just going 10 by 10. What I do is I take a little nail drive, finished nail drive, or an awl. I'm going to pop a little hole there. I'm going to put my guide in like this, and then I have a grease pencil, and I'm going to go around it. Okay, I'm going to draw my circle with a grease pencil like this. I'm going to do the same over here.
Oh.
So I'm taking sheet metal. It's about 10 inches, and I'm just going to I'm going to make an estimate and cut a little bit extra, maybe an inch or two, and cut it right here. Now I'm going to cut it in half so I can make 2 of these. So these pieces end up being about 4 or 5 inches wide. The width doesn't matter. About 60 inches long. Okay, so I'm going to start on one side and tape it all down where it needs to go. And that'll move just a little bit, but I work my way around and follow my lines. Okay, once you've got the Got it mostly lined up. What I've done is I've kind of taped it, and I'm just going to drill a hole right here and put a little wire just to make sure it doesn't come undone. Just like that, tighten it. So I've taped this in place. This is my mold. That's just so it can release, and I don't think it's not going to be that thick. So the cement shouldn't get up there. Okay, got one done. I ended up taping the whole thing. One thing to note is you want to use the factory edge, not the cut edge on the bottom. Working my way around, following my line, taping as I go. Just like that. So before we insert these and pour the cement, you want to score this. Just kind of rough it up. And the reason for that is you don't want it sliding out of the cement. You want it to grab. You can use a wood file. So for the reinforcement, I'm using this lath. And I'm just gonna kind of eyeball cut this. Cut it in a circle. Okay, I've cut one, and then I put this in. Kind of marked it so that I know it'll fit, and then I'm gonna use this one that I just cut as a template for the other ones. I'm a big fan of use what you've got. So I've cut my first one as a template. Before I mix cement, setting up a base, making sure it's level both ways, I just use some wood shims underneath it. Pretty much any surface you're gonna put this on is not gonna be level, so I want it to be as level as I can. As part of your setup for the middle center piece pipe, I just put some duct tape around it so that it kind of stays in place. I'm just gonna kind of fold that over. And I've still got my mark hole punch that I did. So I'm just gonna set this down right about where it goes, like that. I'm set up, ready to mix cement. Need is a scale of some kind. I got this hanging scale off Amazon for under 15 bucks. The cement mix I bought is 3.5 quarts of water for an 80-pound bag. This is an 80-pound bag. So that is, I did the math, that's about a quart per 23 pounds, 22.8 pounds. So even, smoothing it out. And just making them as smooth as you can. If you get the right mixture, you won't have to add any water. The water kind of comes to the top for you. The right mixture for this, so I did 23 pounds of the mix, and each mix is a little different, so you're gonna have to figure it out. The mix I had, I did 23 pounds plus about 5 cups of water, so 4 quarts, or sorry, 1 quart plus another cup, and that was the right mixture of mixed water. So we're just going to let them dry for 48 hours. The amount of mix I used was about a bag and maybe 1/8 of a bag. So we'll see what these come out to, what the weight is when they're done. One thing is that you want to keep them damp and not sun dry it too much. The cement cures, it doesn't kind of dry it. So it's only been 1 day, and it's kind of hardened, but not dry. Not ready to take out yet, but I'm just going to kind of fix the edges a little bit while it's still a little bit damp. The unveiling. Go. Not too shabby. Okay. Cut this off and then weigh it. Tape out of the middle. Now this is my first batch, so learned a couple things. I could pat the mix down a little bit better on the edges, get that a little smoother. A little bit more tamping it down. Let's weigh them. So this is a strap that I made. I got another video about that. I'm going to string it through. Adjustable lifting strap. We're at 44 pounds, 20 kilos exactly.